Hey guys, what's up? Ashley here, and it's time for another episode of Confessions of a Giggler. Oh my gosh, I think my head is bleeding. Oh my god. No, I'm okay. All right, so jeez. So today I want to talk about the show on Netflix called Love is Blind. I'm sure you can tell by the name of this video that that's what we're going to be talking about today. um so for those of you who don't know, Netflix has a show called Love is Blind, and it's hosted by Nick Lachey of 98 Degrees and his wife Vanessa Lachey. And so they take 30 people, I think, like 15 men, 15 women, and they live in like separate areas. Like all the women live together and all the men live together, and then they have pods, and they have like blind dates basically in the pod. So you go into the pod, and then you get a person in the other pod, and then you talk, and you don't know what the other person looks like at all. So you just know, what they sound like and what they're saying and whatever. So that's the whole premise. Like, is love blind? Can you fall in love with someone who you've never seen before and you have absolutely no idea what they look like? So that's like how the show starts, and then it progresses. By the end of the pod time, I mean, like, it goes on for a few days. I don't know. They don't really say exactly how many days you get in the pods, but at the end of the time for the pods, you can talk to whoever you want, as many people as you want, and then make a decision if you find a connection. If you propose at the end of the pods, then you get to meet each other in real life, and then they send you on a fancy vacation to Mexico, and then you get to live together in an apartment that Netflix pays for in your city. So like the first season, everyone was from like the Atlanta area. This season, everyone's from Chicago. And then I guess like whatever seasons come in the future, everyone will live in the same city. Like they want it to work for you. So they're not going to like put people, I just read an article and it said, we're not going to put people who live in Tampa and Portland, Oregon together because like they're rooting for you for it to work, So yeah. And then at the very end, they have a wedding, and then they can decide if they are going to actually get married or if they're going to say, no, thank you. So they could decide to get married, they could decide to not get married and stay together, or they can decide to like just break up completely. So season 2, the first 5 episodes of season 2 are out, and I want to talk about it. So my biggest complaint about season 1 was that all these people that they cast are beautiful. They're all beautiful, so who cares? Like, no one's going to come out of the pod and be like, oh, you know what? I really had a good connection, but that person is real ugly, so I can't date them. So, like, it defeats the purpose of the experiment, right? Right? So, that was my biggest critique of season 1. So, season 2 strolls up, and the cast seems to be a little bit more diverse. I see the episode 1 I'm watching, I'm like, oh, there's 2 big girls on there, great. And just like overall a lot more variety when it comes to like ethnicity and stuff. And then I mean same for the men too. And so now I can't talk about it any further until I say spoiler alert. So like I'm going to actually talk about all the things that are happening. A lot of times I try to be like spoiler free, but I need to say these things and they're spoilers. So yeah. So if you want to watch season 2 of Love is Blind and you don't want to be spoiled at all, then for the first 5 episodes, because that's all I've watched so far, then you need to stop watching right now and come back after you've watched. If not, then you can continue on to hear my rant. It's not really a rant. It's just like, So out of the 15 men and women, so 30 people, there's potentially obviously 15 couples. Like, that's not gonna necessarily work out. Not everyone is going to find someone, right? So they followed, I think, 6 couples into Mexico. But and you really only see in the pods the people who they're going to follow to Mexico. You don't see anyone else. So you only saw like 6 people, like 6 men, 6 women, whatever. And I'm like, well, what about all the other people? I want to know how their experience has gone. But something to me that stuck out was the 2 bigger girls that I mentioned. No airtime at all. Nothing. They still couldn't get anyone in a Love is Blind situation. You know why? Because people like Shake, that's his name, Shake, well, that's what he goes by, asking questions like, oh, I really like to shop for my girlfriend. What size would I get you? You can't say that. That defeats the purpose of this whole thing. Come on, man. And then he asked another girl, like, oh, I really like to go to festivals. So, would you mind if I like put you on my shoulders? And like, that was his test to see if she was small enough that he could hold on her shoulders. Number 1, dude. You know how rude that is? Like, if I'm at a festival and some jerk in front of me puts his girlfriend on his shoulders, I will be so mad. Like, what are you doing? It's so rude. I hate that. I know that festival culture is different than like regular concert culture, but still, it's so rude. It's just like when you're at Disney World and you're watching the fireworks and the dad puts the kid on the shoulders. Like, yeah, I get it. The kid can't see, but now 30 other people can't see, So, like, just hold them at your own height, see what you see. So, 1, no, regardless of my size, I would say no thank you to being put on the shoulders. Also, I'm a front row girl, right? So, like, what do I need to be on your shoulders for? I'm going to be in the front row. And if I'm not in the front row, it means I want to be in the back row. And that means that I want to be in my space dancing. And I don't really care if I can't see. Like, doesn't anyone understand that? So, no, Shake, don't put me on your shoulders. I guess I just get fired up about that sort of thing just because, like, whatever. So, anyway, now that I'm, like, so distracted. Okay, so I was so sad that the 2 big girls did not get anything. And they weren't even that big, honestly. Definitely smaller than me. So, yeah. So I was like, man, I really wanted them to, like, work out. So then there were 2 other girls. So there's 2 other girls who did get engaged, and both of them said that they not recently, but in their life, they've lost 70 to 80 pounds. Right? So great. Good for them. I'm so happy for them. They did awesome. Something I've tried to do, I've done. I didn't do enough. Reverted back. Whatever. It's an up and down battle. And it's not one that I'm worried about currently. But my point is, now I'm like roasting. I'm so hot. Oh my God. So my point is that, like, that sucks, man. That these 2 girls, they had to work their butts off and they lost weight. And that's how they got to get a man. Like, why aren't the men liking you no matter what? Even if they can't see you. I mean, there's obviously questions, like I mentioned before, that you could kind of suss out how large a person is. So anyway, it gets better from here. So these girls, and the one girl, I was shocked at first. I was like, there's no way that this girl used to be a big girl. No way. But then, like, after she said it, I was like, oh yeah, you could kind of tell now. And then, like, when she was in Mexico and, like, she was so happy that she was, like, wearing a bikini and stuff. And then I was like, oh, yeah, I mean, like, me knowing what it's like to lose a lot of weight and knowing what my own self looks like after losing a lot of weight, that's how I could tell. I was like, oh yeah, she's got like some loose skin and stuff, but like still good for her. Good for her. She did it. I'm so like, that's awesome. Like keep it up, man. And then she like those two, they were all over each other, like kissing constantly. And then she puts her bathing suit on and he's suddenly not attracted to her. And like my little heart just broke because it's the same jerk that was asking if he could put on the shoulders. So yeah, so like I was just so upset for her. I'm like, man, she did so much good work and like she looks great. She looks so great. Like I couldn't even tell until, you know, she said something and then it was like, oh yeah, I see the signs, but that's coming from myself who's been there, you know? And this guy, he's just like, yeah, I'm not attracted to her at all. But you were doing just fine when she had a dress on and she was covering all that up, right? Like, why are men such jerks? I don't get it. So yeah, so that sort of thing just blows my mind. It makes me so upset. Like, so like I'm sad for her. And like, obviously I don't know how things are going to turn out. But he's going around telling everyone else that he's not attracted to her, blah, blah, blah. Like, I know why. It was in that exact moment, I saw his face shift. So, like, that's my biggest fear. I'm like, oh my God. Like, in real life now. So, like, really, that's my biggest fear. So, like, I know I have a lot of pictures, and I've been a lot of different weights in my lifetime. More on the high end. Not really on the low end, but I do have some pictures of when I was at my skinniest, which really wasn't that skinny, but still I have them. And then I'm like constantly worried that I look smaller in the pictures than I do in real life. And that like whoever I meet from a dating app or whatever, which I haven't been on a date in a very long time, so that's not really too much of an issue, but just it's always in the back of my mind, like, am I presenting myself accurately enough in my bio? And then because of this I end up selling myself short, and that's a problem. That is a problem. So like I don't want to be accused of catfishing because that's not my intention at all. You know? And that's why I'm here looking like this right now and talking about Love is Blind. Oh my God. So yeah, so Love is Blind, great concept. Sign me up. Who can I think they already filmed season 3. So season 4, if it's in like Philadelphia or Baltimore or honestly wherever it is, I'll just move there. So yeah, sign me up. Who knows someone who can get me a position in this cast? I want to try it. Obviously it hasn't worked out yet for you know, my kind, but there's always a chance. So, and I'm willing to be that guy, to be that girl, to break the mold. So yeah. I think I've ranted long enough about this show. So that's gonna be it for me for today. And I know last time I said I'll talk to you tomorrow and then I disappeared for a week, but for real, there's a large % chance that I will in fact talk to you tomorrow, and if I don't, it's gonna be Monday. So the day after. So yeah, that's gonna be it, and I'll see you soon, guys. Love you. Bye.